Hello again from the San Siro, half-time score here. Inter 0, Genoa 0. This off the back of yesterday's results involving two of the other really big boys whom Matsari there would aspire to competing with. Milan, of course, lost, surprisingly, at newly promoted Verona. Juventus weren't at their most convincing, but did take the 3 points from their trip to Genoa's great rival Sampdoria. And Inter, it's fair to say, haven't hurried out of the blocks here. There's nothing that, if you were one of their supposed major rivals, you'd be looking at and thinking, do you know what, they could be a worry this year. Slow start for Inter. Genoa have achieved, I guess, would you choose, what to this point they came here to achieve.
Liverani will be delighted. Tough first test for him in management. Proper management anyway, and coming to Inter with a new manager. He'd feared the worst, perhaps, when this came out of the fixture list. But they've been okay, they defended well. Haven't seen much of them going forward, of course, but first things first, don't concede, and they managed to do that. The Inter team are out early for this second half. Mazzarri clearly said all he wants to say, and he won't be too disappointed. Listen, it weren't great in the first half, but on the back end of last season where they were so poor, just consolidating, just finding a little bit of stability, building from that, will be something he won't be too disappointed with.
You mentioned Fabio Liverani. We saw relatively little of him in the first half by comparison with Matsari, and didn't really have a chance to discuss him. But here is a guy in his mid-30s who's been given his first opportunity. I guess you're that sort of age group, and if you were invited to go and manage in Seri-A or the Premier League or one of the major leagues, you wouldn't be human if you weren't thinking, my word, here am I now, this is big.
Absolutely, and we all have great ideas, we all think about the game, and well, some more than others, but definitely from a footballing or a player's point of view, you always have an opinion on how it should be done. But when it's finally you in that hot seat, big test, and he don't come much bigger than managing in Serie A at his age. Fantastic player though he was, really good footballer, intelligent footballer, and because of that he read the game well and should make the transition into management pretty smoothly. A tough second 45 minutes coming up for him here.
Certainly if he gets away from the San Siro with a point in his first game, I'm sure he'd be a very satisfied individual after what, for him, albeit that the early rounds of the Coppa aren't desperately important in Italy, would have been really deflating opening last week to lose to a second division side on penalties. Not the ideal beginning for Liverani, so this is a chance to send out a good news signal to Genoa's supporters. Guarin flags up. Not sure it was rightly up, actually. Portanova was late-ish stepping up.
I was about to commend Genoa for their line in the first half. They played Inter offside quite a few times. I thought they got their line correct in the first half and were difficult to penetrate. The linesman doing him a favour in that instance there, because he wasn't offside.
Campagnaro clear. It's a lovely little touch. And here is Alvarez. And Guarin. And Alvarez prevented from getting clean contact at the near post by Portanova.
That's where they just lack something, don't they? Just lack a little bit of pace and something else to create something. Guarin just flashing across the box. And the only real player he's got to aim at is Kuzmanovic, trying his best to come in to the back post.
First corner of the second half, 2 minutes in. Alvarez to take. Ranocchia penalty spot. Palacio in front of him. Cambiasso back of the 6-yard area. Kuzmanovic making a menace of himself in the vicinity of Coffey there, right on the goal line. Alvarez with the in-swinger. Nice take from Perin. Good for his confidence. You mentioned all the goals he let in for Pescara last year. That could be a good or a bad thing. There are several instances, Richard, out there in various leagues of the keeper for a relegation team often turns out to be the man of the season.
Yeah, and he's highly rated. You mentioned he's an under-21 international and came away from last season, if anything, his reputation in hands from it, which must be a good thing from his perspective, because Pescara shipped an awful lot of goals, and at Padova previously it didn't go great for them either in Serie-A. So the fact that he's come out individually, managed to further his career, and here at Genoa, a fantastic opportunity for him. A team who aim to consolidate in mid-table, so hopefully improving on last year as far as he's concerned.
Jonathan. That's up again. Passeri is not going down well with Rodrigo Palacio.
And once again, we can see why, because that decision looks incorrect to me. And Palacio did well to put himself back onside. He was in an offside position at the beginning, but then when Jonathan finally released the ball, Palacio had done well to bring himself back onside, and that would have been a fantastic opportunity for Inter.
Genoa's cup defeat was made worse last week by the fact that it was a bit of a derby. Spezia are from the Liguria region, sort of junior partners to Genoa and Sampdoria, a bit like Tranmere beating Everton. Aimed forward by Lodi. Gilardino couldn't quite bring it under his spell. Bertolacci arriving late, and Handanovic falling on it.
Well, Gilardino's got his hands wide open, saying to Bertolacci, where are you? But I think Gilardino's got to do better. Once he's up there, once he knows he's going to win that header, surely he should have directed it even further towards his teammate, so he had a free shot on goal there.
Campagnaro. Kuzmanovic. Broken up by Coffey. Here's Lodi. Santana. Gilardino. That's why centre forwards have black and blue ankles. Given a right clattering by the black and blue shirted Jesus.
It's something that Gilardino's been accustomed to throughout his career. If you're going to play the lone front row, you have to hold the ball up well. Get the odd foul. Nagatomo it was who actually fouled him there.
Oh, Santana lashing out there off the ball at Jesus, and fortunate that none of the officials saw it.
And there's that header from Gilardino I talk about. I think he's got to do better with it. He's up there, he knows he's going to win it. Head it back towards the edge of the box. Said he almost headed it back onto his hand. Didn't get clean contact on it.
With another pretty rugged tackle, time on Nagatomo. It's begun the second half. A little tetchily. Genoa won't mind too much if the game is broken up. It's patchy as well as tetchy. Wider for Perrin's goal from Kuzmanovic.
There's the free kick earlier, but Kuzmanovic finding a nice little pocket that Palacio had found previously and was wrongly adjudged to being offside. This time the flag stays down correctly. Kuzmanovic didn't get a shot quick enough. And that space in between Portanova and Antonelli just opening up for Inter.
It is actually the last contribution Kuzmanovic makes before being replaced by the new boy, number 9, Mauro Icardi, 20-year-old Argentine who has arrived from Sampdoria, had time as a youngster with Barcelona's under-17s. His reputation and early pedigree excellent. 10 goals and 31 for Sampdoria last year. This would be a great stage on which for him to further his career. Guarín. Alvarez. Step back into midfield to allow Icardi further forward. Palacio. by Campagnaro. Icardi! Wouldn't have been a bad start.
Would have been a great start against Genoa, the former Sampdoria player, with a free header. Decent cross from Campagnaro. On the penalty spot, it's difficult for him to do anything but get it on target. But a good substitution is from Mazzarri. I think it made sense. I'm not sure quite why he waited 7 minutes into the second half to do it. Not an awful lot changed in the second half for me to see any difference between first and second half, so he could have made it at half-time. Getting another body in there up front for Inter just to trouble this Genoa defence, give them something else to look at. Not a bad decision.
Three centre-backs for Inter. Campagnaro has certainly been the most frequently over the halfway line and well beyond, but Seri has made his first big change of his latest big job. Icardi, Palacio, Guarin, Jonathan herring outside of him, Cambiasso, the simple pass inside. Cambiasso, in goes Icardi again, and it's a good, brave and authoritative take by Italia Perin.
Very difficult ball for Cambiasso to hit there. It's a straight one to dink it over a defence that's coming up. I suppose the deflection could have found the path of Icardi, but don't think it's up to Cambiasso to unlock a defence. That's not his game. He has to keep it simple, get the ball to players like Alvarez. That's his job.
Alvarez, the rough around the edges Slovak, Juraj Kučka. Out by Lodi, on back by Jonathan. Alvarez. Bounced out kindly for Gilardino. Speaking, Fabio Liverani, 37 years old, a Roman by birth. His most notable playing days in midfield for Lazio and then Fiorentina and ultimately Palermo. Moving through for Bertolacci, made by Campagnaro. Genoa did change managers through last season. Luigi Di Canio was sacked on 22nd of October. The team were 9th then. Luigi Del Neri had 3 months in charge. He was sacked towards the end of January with the team 18th. David Berardini got them up to 17th, but he was replaced by Liverani in June. Fabini across behind Palacio. Gilardino hauled over by Ranocchia.
It's silly really from Ranocchia. All you have to do is hold up, make sure he doesn't turn and wait for the midfielders to help you out. Try and nick the ball off Gilardino. And just before that, Ranocchia with a little bit of a hopeless punt forward. Nothing more than that. A strange play from the centre-half.
That's a clever blindside run from Kučka. Goalkeeper committed himself, and Kučka's return ball was headed away by Ranocchia. Smartly played in by Santana, and Kučka appeared from out of picture.
Really poor defending from Jonathan there as a right wing back. In that instance, become a right back. You really need to see what's coming from behind you. He was caught unawares.
Guarin away from Kučka, and had a decent lick too. Guarin, oh! Took a coat of paint off the far stick.
That's brilliant from Guarin. He's such a frustrating player because he can do this every time he gets the ball. So direct, so powerful, so strong. He does everything right there. He's unlucky. And so is Palacio in the middle. Just a stud or two away from getting that in on goal. There's that defending from Jonathan in the back post. Really should be opening his body up. Expect there to be someone there behind you. Deal with the ball, but just to let that run past you. And Kuczka's first touch would have been better. That would have been a goal for Genoa.
Milovic laudably resisting the temptation to get his hands in the wrong place. Could easily have taken away an ankle from Kuczka and conceded a penalty. Not so. Patalaci. Kuczka, right in the thick of things at the moment, tried to slide in Gilardino. Campagnaro took it away from him and Guarin sets them forward again. Palacio, Campagnaro, once more with good adventure. Antonelli in the right spot.
Genoa have got to be careful here because they've shown more adventure going forward. They don't want this to become an end-to-end game.
Guarin, Icardi, Cambiasso, didn't quite sit for him.
No, he's unlucky. Even though he's a defensive midfielder, he can score goals. He's come up with the odd important one throughout his career. He just wants to shoot, he just wants that ball to sit down properly for him, but it didn't. But as I mentioned there, Genoa are going to... they've got to be careful here. The point is a decent result. You can grow into the game, yeah, show a bit more adventure, but not at the expense of leaving the back door open. And Inter will relish this becoming an end-to-end game. They have the players for it. The powerful runs from Guarin from midfield, that's what they want.
Campagnaro on Kuczka. Oh, gone. Still no breakthrough for Inter, but certainly from a neutral perspective, a much more watchable second half. Game has got a little bit of openness about it now. Bit of attacking thrust, and Genoa themselves are contributing to that.
It's almost as if Genoa have had a look at Inter in the first 45 minutes, 50 minutes of this game. Don't think there's an awful lot to fear, so might as well give it a go the other end. I'm just worried for them. If they do that, they will give Inter chances and spaces and opportunities that I don't think that Inter are capable of unlocking for themselves.
It's a really interesting point you make, Richard. I wonder if they are looking at each other now and thinking, do you know what, we can beat this lot.
I think that will come from Liverani. He is a good football player. He won't want to just sit back in 90 minutes and defend. He'll want his team to bring the game to Inter to a certain extent. He was that sort of a footballer, a beautiful footballer. He won't want to play a horrible game the whole game.
It is one of the everlasting sporting quandaries. Back to that in a second. Here's Guarin. Do you risk losing in order to try and win? Guarin biting away at the back of Kuczka.
I think that's the right decision. I just think he clips his heels. But as for the neutral undersells, Peter's making for a much more interesting second half. There's a clip there on Kuczka. Silly, needless foul from Guarin.
Hold up in play here. And once more, Kuczka's involved. He's been at the eye of a few mini-storms over the course of the first 15-20 minutes of the second half. Another individual, well recognised internationally, 29 caps for Slovakia. Very good early part of his career in the Czech Republic with Sparta Prague. See exactly where the contact was there from Campagnaro. But it is a fascinating juxtaposition of coaches here, seeing Walter seen it all, done it all, Matsari against an absolute rookie in Nivarani. Sure, there will be much mutual respect. How can there not be? But it's a brand new meeting of brains. Nivarani could launch his Seri-A coaching career with a marquee result at the San Siro, it would buy him a month or so at the start of the season.
And Seri-A sometimes, as we're going to find out, a month can be a long time, in management terms anyway. Well, now that Palermo are in Serie B, though, that might not be the case anymore.
Gilardino culpable this time, and finally the card is out of the pocket. It's taken a while to come, and you would sympathise with Gilardino up to a point when he suggests to the referee that maybe his wasn't the worst, certainly not the first offence that might have required a booking. Why me, ref?
I think the Inter fans didn't help with that one. They weren't happy. As a former Milan fan, that would have been the reason they wanted, sorry, Milan player, that's the reason they wanted him booked. But as you say, not worse than anything else I've seen before.
Kuchka. Bertolacci. Stolen back by Alvarez. Guarín. Palacio. Alvarez. It's a lovely ball for Icardi, vitally read by Sime Veršalko.
Lovely effort, really good movement from Icardi. He didn't just stand still, he didn't get the ball here, so he decided to go in behind. It was a really good effort there from Alvarez, trying to get that ball through. Good defending from Veršalko, not for the first time today.
Santana. One back for Nagatomo. Palacio, he's a former Genoa player. Jonathan. Campagnaro. Alvarez. Floats away from Palacio at the far post. You should by now also be aware that on BT Sport this season we'll be following the Skrill Conference closely, and our live game on Bank Holiday Monday from 5 o'clock tomorrow is Hyde against Grimsby from the Northwest. Enjoy that one here on BT Sport. Cambiasso. Jesus. Campagnaro. Coffey well stationed on the edge of the penalty area. Kuchko penned in by Cambiasso. So that his weak clearance came to Guarín. Nagatomo round the back. Poked away by Veršalko. Coffey caught in an awkward position again. Guarín couldn't capitalise, and Coffey gets another go. Gilardino, Genoa just struggling to get out at the moment. Guarin. Alvarez. Quarter of the game to play. Nagatomo. By the Japanese.
Not quite sure how Ricky Alvarez is going to escape a booking there for just punting the ball into the stadium. Bertolacci doing a job here, just frustrating Inter, taking the pressure off Genoa. As you said, they couldn't get out. There was a spell of pressure that started with Cambiasso doing really well, harassing Kučka, earning the ball back for Inter. Just got the fans on their side for a little bit. That'll fizzle out now that Genoa have the ball back.
For the Senegalese Moussa Konate preparing to come on, which would be an attacking move for Genoa. Striker who's come on loan from Russian football. Pass from Michalko. A cheap throw in and big gain of yardage for Inter. Campagnaro. Cambiasso. Alvarez. Nagatomo. Alvarez wins a corner from Michalko, whose original error it was. But he hasn't made many, in fairness, today. Played in by Alvarez. So, another disappointingly readable corner. Alvarez again. Guarin. Guarin, decent dig. Pitched in that point of maximum inconvenience for goalkeepers in front of Perrin, but he was safely behind it.
Perrin made it look comfortable, as you say, never nice on the bounce. And Guarin coming inside there. You wonder what's going to happen next. He's capable of putting that in the top corner or the back row of the stand. It's neither that time, of course. Just wonder how Inter are going to unlock this Genoa defence, if it's going to happen. Where's it going to come from? Where's the creativity? Plenty of bodies forward.
Those are the questions for him. Genoa, for their part, referring back to some facts I gave you in the first half, Genoa 20 minutes away from what for them, spanning the summer, would be a fourth consecutive goalless draw in Seri-A. Here is the change, and it is an attacking one because it's Bertolacci who's being withdrawn so that Konate can play up alongside Gilardino now. He'll certainly add youth and legs to the attack. Also Konate, who made his name to a great extent at the Olympic Games in London last year when he scored 5 goals, including one against Great Britain at Old Trafford. He's a full Senegalese international now, just an Olympic one. Kovacic on for Cambiasso. That's the second interchange.
And Kovacic clearly the man tasked with unlocking that Genoa defence. He's more creative than Cambiasso, of course. Inter will be a little bit more bare in the centre of the midfield without their captain, but perhaps a little bit more going forward. I'm not too surprised to see Bertolacci leave the field either. He and Santana, the two attacking midfielders in the Genoa team, haven't really seen an awful lot of either of them so far.
Gilardino suggesting that Campagnaro's touch represented a back pass. Doesn't get a sympathetic hearing from Marco Guida. Referee, who, by the way, is the bright young thing of Seri-A. He's the same age, more or less, as Gilardino, just 32. Jesus. Nagatomo. Alvarez, and then for the first time Kovacic. Campagnaro. Jonathan. Ripped into Perrin's near post by Palacio.
There's another one who's been quiet. He's had to drift out wide just to try and get involved again. There's Girardino. I thought he was going to go down there. There could have been a little bit of contact between him and Jesus as well to carve open. Just there, just flicks an ankle. And he wants to pass back.
Alvarez. Nagatomo outside of him. Alvarez went himself away from the near post by Portanova. Shifted quickly forward to Gilardino. Bounces out again for Nagatomo. Now Guarin. Nagatomo. Guarin. Alvarez. Campagnaro. Murmurs of frustration around the San Siro.
And as an away player, when you come to a big ground at San Siro and you see them do this with 15 minutes to go, it's an absolute dream. Just run those seconds down. You're not fearful at all of what lies ahead when experienced players like Campagnaro do that.
At the age of 51, Walter Mazzari has due a grey hair or two. These are the sorts of afternoons just might contribute to that. Jonathan. Guarin. Jonathan. It's in! Unkind deflection, followed in by Icardi and Nagatomo together. Barely matters who got the last touch and which side of the line it was when they made that impression. Everything that matters to Marathi and the thousands that fill the stands in the San Siro is that they have their breakthrough goal. Jonathan's cross squirmed off Antonelli. Nagatomo was taking no chances, and indeed it is the Japanese who is likely to claim it as his own.
So far Genoa let in plenty of crosses into the box and he defended very well, but unfortunately this time, because of the deflection from Antonelli, which makes the goal, is this ball over the line before Nagatomo gets his head on it? The answer is no, it's his goal. But in truth, once that cross comes off Antonelli and loops up into the air, it was always going to be a goal for Inter. And now it sort of justifies the previous 74 minutes. They haven't been great. They got that all-important goal.
It's a very similar set of circumstances to those which we witnessed in the Juventus game last night, when they laboured rather against Genoese opposition and got their breakthrough pretty late in the game. Juventus goal scored by an expensive Stella centre-forward. The Inter goal scored by a less likely marksman, and that is the little Japanese fullback Nagatomo. Some sympathy for Genoa, whose plan A had worked pretty well for an hour and a quarter, but who now have a quarter of an hour to effect a plan B and try to salvage something. Jesus. Alvarez. Life for him feels a whole lot better now. And whereas time seems to be getting away from him, now he has 12 or 13 minutes that just might drag. Kuchka with new and necessary urgency. Coffey, Santana, who has the cunning to impact on his day. Alvarez won't let him get away. Santana earns a free kick.
That's an attacker's tackle, or an attacking player's tackle there. Should just usher Santana in field and not commit himself to a tackle. And Inter will find in the last 13 minutes of this game, plus stoppage time, they may have a few too many attacking options on the pitch. Such was Mazzari's desire to get that all-important goal.
Lodi's free kick, saw what he was thinking. Gilardino was on the same wavelength, but Handanovic came between them. It would be the expectation, I suppose, now in the Inter-camp that more holes are likely to appear in the Genoa formation. He's going to be obliged to go after things to the last 10 minutes. Nagatomo, an unlikely scorer. With Icardi ahead of him, and Coffey biting away at the back of him. Konate. Kuchka, Antonelli. Manfredini. Pashalko. Bit of a hit and hope from Santana. Over with the touch finder.
I suppose Inter should be praised for their patience today, because believe you me, last season, especially the second half of last season, they would have found a way of being 1-0 down in this game, and they weren't. They were still at 0-0, still all to play for, and when you get that goal, now the big question is, can they hold on to it? Keeping clean sheets was a huge problem last season. They had plenty of problems, but defensively that was the main one for me, so a big test now.
Coffey. Kovacic. Jonathan. Guarin. Coached in towards Palacio, whose header was just about on target, but barely carried a threat. 3 years at Genoa before coming to Inter before the start of last season. Rodrigo Palacio. And a good goal-scoring return for them too. 38 goals in 100 games. Icardi. Palacio onside, but Manfredini across sharply.
Good run from Palacio just across the line of the defence. Icardi's ball was a little bit too heavy, but Palacio managed to turn it into a corner, which he's done well with, really, because he always felt that Manfredini was favourite to get on the end of it.
Alvarez outswinger, Icardi against the bar on debut, and then bundled into as he sought to pick up pieces. The referee interpreted that as nothing more than a reasonable coming together, but that's how far away he was from writing his dream debut headline.
That's the second time we've seen him in the box, reading the flight of a cross well. Fantastic header, he could do no more with it. Very unlucky to see it come off the bar.
Alvarez again. Behind by Portanova.
And here it is, Icardi does really well to get ahead of his marker. Jumps really well. Veršalko it is that's marking him. Up early, decent header, Perin beaten.
Still reflecting on the last corner as he waits for the next one. Veršalko has been warned. Alvarez again, deeper this time for Ranocchia! Perin got across.
It's another super header, this time for Ranocchia. So hard to do this, going away from goal. He's going away from goal as well. Just heading that, directing it back on goal. That's one for the cameras from Perin. Good stop though.
Inter appearing ready to put this to bed here, with the advantage with wind in their collective sail. Wind that took a while to get up. Alvarez again deep, high from Portanova, out from Portanova. Jonathan, within an inch of Icardi's boot. He wants a corner, and after consultation between officials, that's just what he's going to get.
There's really good pressure this from Inter. Deciding that the best form of defence is to attack, really putting Genoa to the sword. And Jonathan with another cross-come shot across the goal line. This time it does take a deflection.
Alvarez once more, Icardi rising, but this time not contacting. The referee has seen a push on Kuchka.
Here's that goal, the cross from Jonathan, who's got forward well from that right-hand side, lucky with the deflection.
In by Kuchka. Coffey. Santana. A bit of a hoik, which Handanovic is glad to see land on the roof of his net.
It's not been his afternoon, Santana. I'm expecting him to provide the ammunition for Giardino. We've seen none of it. There's Nagatomo, celebrating in style. And I wonder whether Genoa Liverani's thinking about Flora Flores. He's thinking about a double substitution, and Flora Flores is not as surprising as one of them.
Stefano Sturaro, a youngster, plays in midfield, just 20 years old. And Flora Flores, a natural change. Flora Flores, the Neapolitan striker. Taider on in place of Alvarez for Inter. Another one of their new boys, Safir Taider, arrived just this week, the Algerian, from Bologna.
And he'll add some bite into the midfield which was a little bit too attack-minded. The last 5 minutes of this game, we need to be trying to see it out. Replacing Alvarez with a tough tackling midfielder, I think it's a very sensible decision from Mazzari.
Coffey. Free kick. Foul on Flora Flores. All hands on deck defensively now for Inter. It's a kitchen sink job for Genoa. He needs to provide Gilardino with some quality of delivery. Choose to go short instead for Schalke. Coffey, Lodi, Flora Flores, Gilardino, in by Coffey. Away by Fran Jesus. Lodi. Back and then couldn't prompt Gilardino, and now Inter can counter. Kovacic. Palacio ahead of him. He ran into Manfredini. You won't be surprised to see that yellow card. And it's a free kick which, apart from anything else, can eat up time.
That's the number one thing for Inter now. Kovacic has done well since he's won, definitely made a difference. Very elegant in the ball, very composed. Hasn't misplaced the pass. Kept his team taking over. That's sensible running, just running the clock down.
Corin's free kick. Kovacic. Lovely little dart. And a shot that could come down for Icardi. Corner.
I think it's Manfredini. He's got more than a handful of Icardi's shirt here. Can't quite wrestle away. It's Portanova, actually. Riccardi just wanted that first goal for himself, otherwise probably should have gone down. I think he might have got a penalty there with the official behind the goal. Could hardly miss the contact that Portanova was putting on Riccardi's shirt.
Guarin to take. Well won by Portanova. Genoa with a chance to thrust it forward now. Perrin in a flying hurry. Jonathan disenchanted by having had his name taken. And there is the previously advertised change. Coffee having come off, so that Sturaro can go on. All or nothing now for Genoa, who have to find a way to score a goal. Sturari. Here comes Palacio. Nagatomo. Riccardi. Nagatomo. Dabbed on cleverly for Guarin. Shot is deflected wide.
Really good play from Inter again. Paidere was winning the ball deep inside his own half, and from then they strung 2 or 3, 4 good passes together, ending with Guarin's shot. And I think maybe with the seconds running down, probably been better advice keeping hold of the ball rather than having a strike.
Into 3 minutes of stoppage time. Really a good first day for the boss. Out by Portanova, back in by Kovacic. Riccardi can't get a piece of it. Taider lifts his shot high. Genoa haven't scored for more than 6 hours of Seri-A football now. They've got 2 minutes to find a goal, or they start a new campaign with nothing. Finished the last campaign 6 points above the dreaded line. Couldn't afford to lose possession there. Guarin. Oh, beautifully rolled in for Palacio to seal it. Big Milanese smiles. And the man who once served Genoa so well has killed off any lingering hopes they had of emerging from the San Siro with anything for their afternoon's labour. Sumptuous take from Rodrigo Palacio. The pass that invited it, though, was no less worthy of praise.
It's a lovely goal, and Inter deserved this because they've been a better team by far since they went 1-0 up. The last 15 minutes since they're 1-0 has been the best spell of the game. Lodi gives the ball away in possession, cheap from him. Unlike him, he's had a poor day for Genoa, the former Catania player. Lovely little through ball from Guarin. And Palacio, who's had very little to go on, must be said today, takes his one and only chance very, very well.
Goal that'll mean a lot to him personally, and indeed to Inter corporately, as they bank their first 3 points of a season which must simply must be up a rung or two from their last effort. Seri allowing a smile now to play on the lips of they are very often looking stoic face. It's a long course, but they've covered the first part of it well. Late booking for Guarin, who pleads his own innocence. And that is sufficient. And that sort of result would be sufficient for followers of Inter, so disenchanted by what happened under his predecessor. But for Matsari, an absolutely ideal start, albeit that it took until well into the second half for the Nerazzurri to break through Yuto Nagatomo in the first instance, and as we see Guarin's late offence, which led to his yellow card, and then through Rodrigo Palacio. So a satisfactory start for Massimo Moratti and all folk Inter. 2-0 win for them, and the big European games keep on coming on the BT Sport. Tonight you have the